What if every solution your players came up with led to something worse? That's what we're going to talk about in this video, and it led to one of the most intense and enjoyable sessions that I have DM'd in Dungeons & Dragons. So first, let's talk about why you might want to do this. Well, the reason is because we have all at some point been in a situation where combats just got boring. They got repetitive. It's a lot of just walk up to the big monster and hit it. And you hear things with the action economy or maybe adding some terrain changes and things like that, but this is a little bit different. The other part of it would be that skill challenges are typically just, hey, here's the situation, tell me how you guys are going to use skills to get out of it, and this puts a little bit of a twist on that as well and combines both a combat encounter and a skill challenge into one that is evolving as the players do things. So picture this, your players are aboard the Storm Chaser, a rugged ship captained by the grizzled Roderick the Iron Eye Vane. A ways into their travel, while they're out at sea, they hear a thud in the wood on the outside of the ship. They're being boarded by pirates. The Scarlet Tide is swinging in on ropes and using the harpoons to pull their ship in. They are here to loot and kill, and it's chaos, but it's only going to get worse. Right as the fight heats up, a couple rounds in, you can roll a dice to determine something changes. A bigger fish shows up, a kraken. Now, this video isn't about the bigger fish scenario. However, this is another great way to improve your combats or change them up, is that they're fighting something, and when they think, oh, we're coming to the end of this fight, something else shows up that is bigger and tougher. This means that a lot of the time they will have used some resources in that first fight, and therefore when you throw that big bad at them, now they don't have as much, and it can finally be a more difficult combat. And it can lead to some really cool narrations when the big bad shows up and maybe tears apart one of the other guys. But back to that kraken that showed up. It makes its appearance by destroying the enemy ship. The screams can be heard, bodies are thrown into the water, but now it's turned its attention toward the Storm Chaser. The goal in this scenario is not to defeat the kraken. I did this with my party and they were not high enough level, they would have died. The goal is to survive the kraken. In this situation, the goal is to get to a nearby island shallow water so that the kraken cannot follow them into that shallow water. Failure means that the boat is destroyed and then they have to try to swim their way to the island, and that could come with all sorts of consequences like exhaustion, maybe somebody gets pulled under by the kraken. That's up for you to decide. So now we get into the good stuff. How do you make this unforgettable? How do you make it more fun and different? You give them tasks, but each of the solutions to those tasks leads to another problem. So as the first tentacles slap onto the deck and the kraken attacks the ship, it wraps one of its big tentacles around a mast. Holes are punctured into the hull of the ship. Captain Roderick shouts, "Get that thing off the mast." People from below deck come up. "We're taking on water, sir." You have things to do. Your barbarian player immediately goes, "I'll handle the mast," and runs over and swings at the tentacle. Assuming he hits and he does enough damage, which can be decided by you, I picked 20, to be able to actually cause the tentacle to let go. Now the tentacle is set on him. He succeeded at freeing the mast, but now there's a new problem. The tentacle is either grabbing that player or an NPC, which means the player either needs to free themselves or turn their attention to freeing an ally. The monk player runs below deck, trying to use his fury of blows to patch the holes as quickly as possible. And while this is going relatively successfully, the kraken hits the ship again. This leads to all sorts of crates and barrels and other supplies being shifted. They're now blocking the exits and water is still coming in. Now your player has a couple options. Do they continue to try to patch the holes and stop the water from coming in, or do they try to uncover the exit? Or does one of the other players work to uncover the exit while they continue to plug the holes? The whole point of this is that a solution causes another problem, or that there are things that happen after each other. I didn't do initiative for this. I wanted it to be more cinematic. So it's kind of like the captain shouts out his orders. Somebody's like, well, I'm gonna run over here and do this. Great, roll this for that. This other player, I'm gonna do this. Great, roll this for that. And these things are just happening at the same time. Eventually, the kraken is trying to wrap its tentacles around the ship, the same as it did to the pirate ship, and they need to deal enough damage to stop it to keep their ship afloat. After you feel that there have been enough successes, enough solutions leading to more problems that were then solved, you can decide that they have reached that island, or rather the shallow water around it. I found this to be really exciting and enjoyable. It was combat and a skill challenge all in one that also just flowed really smoothly. It felt like the stakes were real and the players felt the urgency of the situation even outside of initiative. So if you're suffering from feeling like things are becoming a little too repetitive in your games, spice things up, take away initiative and add in a bunch of actual tasks rather than just straight skill challenges. Again, the captain shouted out, get this done, get that done, and that was the starting point, but then other problems problems reared their heads during those tasks. And the players got to feel like the world was actually changing around them. Things were happening in real time that they needed to solve. So let me know what you think about this. Will you be giving it a try? Have you done something like this before? Share it down in the comments below. And if you want more D&D, TTRPG, and other nerd culture content, make sure to follow, subscribe to the channel, and give this video a thumbs up. If you want to support me by becoming a member here or on Patreon, it would be greatly appreciated. And of course, until next time, good luck in your adventures.